Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
I'm to blame for this divorce and will regret my mistakes the rest of my life, trying to make Sybil for kids' sake. My emotions are all messed up horribly right now. I am all to blame for this mess I have put myself in. Roughly 9 years ago, I was on a deployment and met a guy who I became friends with. It was strictly friends. Over the years, we still remained friends, but my heart got tied up in it, and for me became more of an emotional affair. My husband was working a lot, providing for us and our kids. He is a damn good provider, but I kept him from home a lot, probably more than I ever liked. Deep inside, I kept the secret that my heart was not fully my husband's, that there was this friend who had part of it for so many years. About 3 years ago, husband confronted me about the friendship, and it was obvious that the emotional affair was only one-sided. The other guy barely ever responds, and I was the one initiating the conversations, probably out of boredom and loneliness. I cut all contact off for 2 years preceding husband finding out about my feelings. I wanted to make our marriage work, but I still could not shake the feelings I had for the other guy. Other guy does not live in same state as us, never has. Military has kept him all over the US, but never in the same state. Last year, I got a message from him after not hearing from him for over 2 years. He had been going through a hard time, and I made a mistake by talking to him via internet and consoling him over his relationship loss. I again made another mistake, sent said guy a birthday card with no return address. Just wanted to make sure he knew he was thought about cause he was going through so much. Probably the worst thing for me to do, cause he sent me a message on FB and husband saw it and flipped out. Well, now after months of contemplating divorce, husband filed last week. I am forever regretful cause I ruined a decent marriage. We had our differences, but husband is not a bad man by any means. If anything, he is the most understanding, kind man I have ever known. I'm an emotional wreck and can't seem to keep it together. Our kids don't really know what is going on just yet, and I hope we don't have to tell them cause we are trying to keep things normal for them. As of right now, I'm keeping this house and the kids will live with me full time, with him getting them from school in the afternoons and every other weekend. He works nights, so he really can't swing a full-time thing. I want him to see them as often as he wants. The plus to part of my woes is we have a rental house next door, so after our renter's lease is up in March, he will move over there, but in the meantime will remain under the same roof even after the legal divorce. To make matters even more stressful, I'm in nursing school right now. 5 days a week I'm in class. It's a hard program and fast-paced. I almost feel like quitting to get a job cause I don't know how I'm going to manage. Husband keeps saying things will be fine. He is making sure we are both financially set up and won't fail. We have very little debt and already agreed what we do have will pay off at tax time. I have not worked in 7 years, so we'll need to get a job ASAP once I get done with school so I can carry my own insurance. Today, I got a letter from his attorney and it was explaining how once the divorce is final, my health benefits are done and I have to either do COBRA or get my own. I panicked cause I don't have a job yet, and he keeps telling me I don't need to get one. He and I are good friends, still husband and we actually sat out by a campfire and talked like good old friends. He keeps reminding me that we are just too different for each other, that he wants us both to be happy. I tend to be very needy in regards to physical touch and affection, and he does not need it. Over the past few years, I have felt we are no more than roommates, sleeping in different rooms. He says it's only cause of his work. Hours that I realize I'm all to blame. If my heart had been 100% his all these years, and I had just been happy with the time we do get together, we would be fine. I'm a miserable mess and trying really hard to stay positive, especially cause he is all calm and not really making a huge deal out of it. But I feel 100% guilty for all of this. Our kids deserve to have both of us in their lives full time, and I ruined our marriage. I ruined myself and my husband. Now all I have to look forward to is a divorce probably in the next 90 days and the stress of finishing nursing school, then moving on with my life. I realize I will get some bashing for being the wrong one in this, but I'm a wreck and admit my wrongs for the emotional affair. How do I get through this and not lose myself? Story 2. Hello Reddit. MS1 here. I feel broken, so I'm making this post. Ever since I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor. I opted to become a PA my senior year in college due to fiscal reasons. My family needed money after my father had a workplace injury and I was a primary breadwinner in my family. I learned what PA are, the abbreviated schooling, and the ability to help people attracted me to it. I met my wife in PA school. Things have always been great. After years of practice, the financial stressor was gone, so I discussed pursuing medical school. She supported this. She was pregnant with our child shortly afterwards. Surprise, I had an unexpectedly successful cycle and had my choice of schools. She seemed excited for us. After our kid was born, she had PPD and times were rough, but we got through it. I was interviewing around the country and wasn't around much for approximately a 2-month period when my child was 4 months. 6 months, she leaned heavily on my parents for support. The intimacy definitely decreased for a year after our child was born due to this. We opted to go to a school in another state despite having a full ride to the local school, as she had told me she was excited to leave with me, and the other school was higher regarded in an awesome location and offered a competitive scholarship. After committing to that school, COVID hit. We didn't feel comfortable putting our child in daycare, and she was almost done paying off her school loans. Just a couple of months away, she refinanced so they weren't on hold. We made the decision that she should stay nearby my parents and keep working. They watch her child MF while she is at work and help give her breaks when she needs it, for the year, and hopefully they could come up in the spring, COVID permitting. With the money we've saved, she could easily not work for a couple of years. We had been talking as normal until late October when she said out of the blue she wanted to separate. I was shocked. I told her to do what makes her happy. It was a shitty response, but I was in shock. I literally called her to see how she was doing, and she screamed that at me. We didn't talk again for around 3 weeks after this. I came back in town for Thanksgiving break. She denied ever saying she wanted to separate and said she had been unhappy with the lack of intimacy due to the distance. We talked things over, agreed to work on things. I flew back to medical school for a week and returned home after they canceled in-person classes for the semester due to COVID. While I was waiting at the airport for her, she texted me saying she wanted to be alone. I ended up going to my parents for a couple of days. We ended up meeting in person, and she said she was unhappy with my decision to pursue medical school. She had been too afraid to tell me all this time. I asked her if there was anything I can do to change how she feels, and she gave me an ultimatum. Her or medical school. I chose medicine. This is the most painful decision I have ever made. My child is going to grow up in a split home. I asked her about couples therapy. She refused. If there was anything I can do to change her mind, she said no. She didn't want to be in a relationship where she is second. I'm still in shock. I will be able to see my child regularly due to the fact that I'm literally half the country away most of the time. I am in the process of researching and think mediation will be an option, but everything's a haze. She said we can go 50/50 on our account and possessions, 50/50 custody. She will buy out what we bought together. I have no idea how child support will work, as I'm not working for the next 3.5 years and she makes good money. I don't even know why I'm posting this. I guess there are people here who have been in similar situations. Ike, the world is burning.